Hello everybody and welcome to the tutorial on how to complete the new Rage Squid Riot Tour. Sorry if I've got a bit of a lisp, I've had massive face surgery, so I really do apologise if I sound a bit weird or say a few words funny, but this is how you get the white Lux bike and do all of these here. After doing this myself, I thought I'd give you guys some tips on how to make this a lot easier for yourself, because a lot of this is really skill based, because these are difficult trails. The first one I'd start with is Speed's Trail, because it's fun for everyone. I absolutely love this trail. I think it rides very, very well. Do try to do this one without any respawns. Doing weird cool flips against fences also does work. But to get Riot no respawn and Riot in first person, this is probably the best trail that you can do it on. It's one of the easiest ones. It's one of the most free flowing, and it's probably one of the easiest to learn as well. Some of these trails up, you just have no idea where you're going. It's just, I don't know where I am, you know? But this one is very straightforward, and you can make mistakes and still get back into it, making it very easy for anyone that's new to the game. I do recommend that you do this all of the trails here on the downhill bike. If you do not know how to get that, you must be sponsored. As you can see, every time I do a stunt and you know my little speedometer is in red, it can either be in blue or green depending on who you're sponsored with, but if it's white, you do not have access to the other three bike types. You just have to go into the shed and then press the little button. It will show you in the bottom corner. You just press that, you can change your bike type. You probably can do it on the enduro bike, and if you're not sponsored, it doesn't really matter. It's just going to make it a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a little more difficult. It just kind of helps with the big drops and the big speed that you need for some of these. I feel like some of it would just be a bit easier with this, but this will get you the first three done here. That will be Riot no respawn, Riot in first person, and Speed's Route done straight away. Onto Ovanny's trail now, and I do recommend that you definitely set checkpoints, especially on a lot of the ones that you're going to struggle with. You just want to spam a checkpoint every time that you can. It will really help you out, especially with this one. I found this so difficult. I spent forever doing it. Getting to learn this first section and this first jump that we're coming across here, to make sure that you make it across to this bit, do jump a little early so you jump further out. Then just jumping into that little lip at the end of that ramp will just send you off your bike straight away. I definitely recommend setting a checkpoint here, because this jump is a pain in the arse. I'm sorry to say, but it is so temperamental with where it wants to put you, and then you immediately need speed to make this absolutely humongous gap. So please do set yourself a checkpoint, because you have to line it up properly, and if it doesn't line up, it's not going to work. After you finally make it over this jump and then through the massive gap, just getting the line up for this was probably the hardest part of this trail. Just sometimes it really doesn't want to line up or give you the speed that you need, but as soon as you make it past these little bits, I really do recommend then just putting a checkpoint on this bridge, just because it's a flat section that you would have had to pedal up anyway, so it allows you to then just continue on the trail. There's a jump a bit further on down this trail, which is very confusing. I've never had it even slightly throw me to where you actually need to go. You'll probably just go straight up in the air and land in a little gap behind it. It's actually trying to throw you over another trail. It's just kind of awkward. I don't know why it does this. I've never even had a semi-successful launch. It's this jump here. It looks like you're kind of meant to come up and turn back round, but you're actually meant to just jump fully across this trail to your right. You go up it, and I was like, am I meant to ride down this? But I can see that this isn't where you're meant to go. And luckily there was this other guy, DJ San, just following along with me. You're meant to actually go into this bit. That's how it continues. I have no idea how that lineup just would never even come close to throwing me over to it. But yeah, just ride up this little bit and then you're at the finish line, and that one's complete. Probably one of the more tough ones out of all of them. This next trail is probably my favourite. It's just so well made. It rides very, very well, even though it is very skinny. You're going to have a good time riding this. It's probably a little difficult for some people, but it's one that once you learn it, it's just so good. It is so unbelievably good. I wouldn't say you shouldn't have too much trouble with this. It's just kind of it's skinny in some sections that just some people might have a bit of a problem with. I know if somebody else that I know played this, they would be steering off the cliff straight away. So yeah, that would cause an issue for some people. Just keep your little movements minimal. Just tap the stick left and right to keep yourself on the path. It rides so smoothly. You'll have a lot of fun with this one. So I don't think you should have any issues. I wouldn't have any really tips for this apart from just ride it until you enjoy it, and that won't take very long at all. Do keep in mind with this trail that it does actually link to finding one of the treasure coins, which I'll go over at the end of the video anyway, but when you ride it you will spot it. It's just kind of in your peripheral vision. If you ride in first person, it can show a few of the coins, especially around this sort of section. You kind of have to come over this bridge and go off to that little trail bit to the right there. This is to complete the trail, but as you come up here there's a little bridge across there. You can see the coin there. You just have to go to the right there, but I'll show you how to get there anyway in the later bit of the video. For the next trail you do need to set quite a handful of checkpoints. Obviously you don't have to if you have the skill to pull it off, but I just recommend doing it whenever you can, especially for some of the jumps later on down the course. You do have some issues with it, or especially I did. The final jump, it's one of the more difficult things, so do set yourself a checkpoint in a nice location that you can get a bit of a run up, just so you can keep trying in case you fail, because going all the way back to the start from the final jump is a bit of a pain, but it's never really an issue. This trail's pretty fun. It's got some cool bits on it, and it also does have 2 of the other coins, but you have to go down a sort of semi-secret line and do a bit of a powerful jump to get to it. This trail can be a bit hectic, but it's still very fun to ride. I mean, what do you expect from a Red Bull Rampage type map? Final trail now, and this was the one with the weird jump at the end that I didn't like, not the other one. Got a little bit confused. This trail I despise. I don't get where I'm going half the time. It's just not, you can't visually see where you need to go quite a bit of the time. It's not very obvious. I mean, if you put a couple of flags down to kind of direct the rider, I think that's a good idea, but a lot of this is, one, I don't think it rides very well, and 2, I have just no clue where I'm going half the time. I get if you're not always meant to ride in first person, but it's just kind of fun to do it on these type of trails. But Jesus Christ, does it mean that you lose where you're meant to be going? A lot of these jumps just make you jump blind, and you don't know then where you're going to land, and you also don't know where you have to kind of jump to. One of the coins is super bait on this trail, like it's just straight in front of you. If you manage to get a good lineup from the jump before it, you will magically just get that normally, but if you don't, then just kind of come down this trail and to the point, and you can kind of just pump into or moon jump the ramp and you'll make it up to the coin. It's not difficult to collect, but definitely my least favorite trail, and oh my god, was just a pain in the ass to ride. Now for the bit that you'll probably been waiting for, is where are all the coins? Right, so the first coin, come down the Antgrass trail until you get to about here. Do what me and this guy do and set a little checkpoint up there, and just kind of moon jump into this bit and you'll make it up. It's a very simple one to collect, and you might even do it by mistake when riding that for the first time. For the second one, come down the Siro line, my favourite line, and you kind of just have to ride it until you get to the point where the wooden bridge is. If you can get to that rickety old bridge and ride all the way across it, there'll be a bit on the other side which allows you to sort of go off to the right, and then you just kind of have to climb across this rope bridge and grab the coin. It's not that difficult to ride. The rope is fat enough that you can just ride it pretty standardly. It's not like a balancing act. You can do it pretty straightforward. I would set a checkpoint if you struggle with just riding in a straight line. I don't know how you do that, but if you do, please do, and then you can go and collect it any day of the week. The final 2 coins are on the same trail, so if you come down the kmkzz line, it's off of it, sort of. I wouldn't really count it as part of the trail, but you have to use the trail to get to it. Come over to the right here, and then you see this like wooden rickety ramp. You need to jump across to that big one. The best way to do that is actually not to do what I did, but instead do a moon jump off this little tiny ramp, and you will end up with enough speed. You should, if you can moon jump properly, you should be able to make it onto there, and it's very simple to go across to the next gap. It's also easy to, as you can see, miss both of the coins in one attempt. But yeah, no, it's not too hard to get them. I was just being silly. But once you've collected both of them, then you're all done. And that white Lux bike, well, guess what? It's yours. I really do like when the devs add something like this into the game. They did it with the rainbow Lux bike, and now they did it with a white one, but they give you a list of little tasks to do and you collect it. You could something to work towards, and I do actually really love the idea of going around a map and finding all of the coins. It's a really fun one and I do enjoy doing it. But I hope this video helped you get the white Lux bike and get these all complete. I know it is a little bit of a struggle to find them sometimes, so I thought I'd make this one to help, and you know, why not? It's good to make a video again, isn't it? But thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you did enjoy, and I will see you a lot later. Goodbye.